Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a powerful technique, guys, that can seriously level up your black and white photography game. And no guys, it's not a new lens or a crazy editing hack. It's simply setting your camera to shoot in black and white. If you've ever felt like your landscape photography or any other genre photography is missing something, this one change can transform the way you see the world through your camera. So why should you consider switching your camera to black and white mode? Well, we're going to break that down. As you know, color is everywhere. It's beautiful, but it can also be distracting. But when you shoot landscapes in black and white or any other genre, you strip an image down to its essentials: light, shadow, texture, contrast and composition. But in black and white, you're not just taking a picture, you'll be crafting a mood. You'll be telling a story using only core elements of visual design. But here's the real magic, guys. When you set your camera to shoot in monochrome, even if you're shooting raw, you'll be training your eye to see differently. You're no longer seduced by sunset or sunrise color tones, but you will start noticing how light shapes the landscape, how one simple tree pops against a foggy background, or even how cloud coverage adds drama to your image. It forces you to slow down and compose your image with more intention. You also start looking for tonal contrasts, leading lines, and strong shapes. All these things get overlooked in full color. I'm going to tell you a quick tip now. It doesn't mean you're going to give up color images entirely. If you shoot in RAW, your files will still always have that color data inside them. Setting your camera picture or profile to black and white just means your LCD screen shows the world in monochrome, but all the color details and data will still be in your SD card. So don't worry guys, if you don't like the image in black and white, you can still edit it in full color. So you get the benefits of shooting in black and white while still keeping the flexibility to still edit later however you want. So it's a win-win. Another thing, black and white is extremely powerful in challenging light, like overcast skies, fog, or harsh sunlight. Conditions that usually make color landscapes look flat or blown out. So where other photographers pack up their gear and head home, us black and white shooters thrive. Moody skies, dramatic shadows, even empty snowy fields. It's all perfect for black and white. So if you found this helpful, guys, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment below, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to learn more about black and white photography. So well, enough talking, and we're gonna get down to some editing. And today we're going to do some black and white fine art editing, architecture editing. So stay with me guys till the end of the video and I'll show you my amazing technique to get your black and white images to a professional level. So let's head over to the computer and we'll begin our editing process. So this is the image we'll be editing, guys. Like I said, architectural editing. And I took this image a couple of weeks ago and we had great cloud coverage, just like it's in a long exposure, but it wasn't. We had streaky clouds that day. And I took the opportunity to go out and shoot these buildings here in Malta. Well, as you all know guys, my editing style, I always start from color. And you're going to say, why did you shoot it in black and white? And just like I said in the intro, setting your camera to black and white gives you a much better understanding of the image once you're going to turn it into black and white. So the first thing we're going to start off with is the exposure panel. I'll be using a Camera Raw. You can use Lightroom as well or any other editing software. And I'm going to start off by reducing the exposure quite a bit to around there. I'm going to increase a touch of contrast and I'm going to reduce the highlights just a touch. We had the sun was shining from this side. It was around 11 o'clock in the morning. Again, like I said in my intro, shooting black and white is, you can really shoot any time of day, but shooting in bright sunlight gives you the advantages of getting those contrast and dark shadows. And here I'm going to erase the shadows just a touch. I'm going to press the Alt key on my keyboard and raise the whites until I see clippings on the histogram or whites on the black picture. I do the same for the blacks. Hold down the Alt key until I see a clear white screen. And that should be okay for the exposure panel. I'm going to head down to the effects. I'm sure you already know I always do these. My editing flow is all the same for my images, but this image is different because it's architectural. A touch of clarity and a bit of dehaze. Should be okay. I'm going to go head down to the detail panel. I always reduce the radius, increase the detail, hold down your Alt key on your keyboard or the Command key if you're using a Mac, and raise the masking to where you want the sharpening to be. And I'm going to raise the sharpening to around 60. I already straightened out the image. Don't worry about the geometry of the image, guys. I know it's not straight, but that's how it is with architectural photography. And I was shooting really close to the ground here. We have some clippings here, shadow clippings. I'm going to go over to the light panel and I'm going to increase the shadows and see if they go away. And there we have it. Next, I'm going to head down to the calibration and I'm going to increase the blue primary just a bit more than halfway. And like this, we're raising all the colors to get a much better black and white image. And now from here, I'm going to take it over to Photoshop like I always do, guys. We have some more clippings here. Don't worry, we'll sort it out later. I'm just going to turn it over to black and white in Photoshop. I'm going to press open and here we are in Photoshop. Now I'm going to head down to this round circle, this circle here with black and white, the adjustments layer. And I'm just going to press on gradient map. And it's going to give me a black and white image. It's a bit dark, so what we need to do is click on this drop down window here and just press on classic. And there we have a perfect black and white image. I'm going to close it here and I'm going to flatten these layers, and here we're going to take it back over to Camera Raw, or if you're using Lightroom software, over to Lightroom. Click on Filter, Camera Raw, and here we are back in Camera Raw. I'm going to reduce the image size just a touch. And here, if you want, you can reuse the exposure panel, the light panel. I'm going to try these clippings here, get rid of them. I'm going to increase the shadows to about there. And now we're going to begin the masking, and we're going to turn it into a black and white fine art image. And we're going to start off with the linear gradient. And I'm going to place it over the top part of the sky, and I'm going to go down quite a bit to around there. I'm going to intersect the mask with the sky, clicking on these three dots, intersect mask and select sky. And we're going to remove the mask from where it's touching the buildings. And here I'm going to reduce the exposure. I'm going to use another linear gradient, and I'm going to cover just the top part of the sky once again. I think this is the first time I'm doing an architectural editing tutorial, so bear with me guys if I make a few mistakes, and I'm sure you'll be able to correct them yourself. Intersect mask with sky again and select sky. And I'm going to reduce the exposure even more to around there. Again, a linear gradient, but now for the foreground. And I'm going to raise it around there and reduce the exposure. Should be great. We have, I don't know if I mentioned, we have the sun was on the left side here around this area, and here I'm going to create another mask, but I'm going to target the luminance range, and I'm going to place it over this brighter part of the railings here, the concrete of the railings. And here we have a perfect mask here, and I'm going to raise the exposure quite a bit. Just check your clippings on the histogram. Should be okay. And we'll get in that deep contrast, dark editing style. And here again, I'm going to go down and use the luminance range again. But here I'm going to click on the sky here, the white part of the clouds here. It's perfect. Don't forget we have the reflection in the glass here, and so I'm going to leave the mask how it is, and I'm going to raise the whites and a touch of exposure also to around there, and that should be okay. Always check in the histogram for any clippings, especially on the white side, because you get blown out highlights. About the clippings on the blacks, it doesn't really matter once you're doing dark toned black and white images, because sometimes you need that pure black as well. And from here I'm going to create another mask, and here I'm going to target the glass here with a radial mask, and I'm going to target the middle part of this glass here. Going to turn it around a bit, open it up a touch. Another tip guys here, I'm going to open it a bit more. If you hold down your Alt key on your keyboard, and you can adjust the radial just by one side if you need to. And I'm going to remove it from the sky, and we're not touching this part either, just the top part of the radial mask. I'm going to do the same for here. Hold the Alt key, and the same for here as well. And here I'm going to increase a bit of exposure. I'm going to open up just a bit more, and that should be okay. I'm going to use another radial gradient. I'm going to place it on the darker side of the building, of this tower here. I'm going to open up, tilt it a touch, and I'm going to increase the exposure here. I'm going to open up a bit more. And I think I'm going to raise the shadows just a bit. And that should be okay. Always keep remembering from where the light source was coming from, which was the left side here. Next, I'm going to use another radial gradient. I'm always picturing the image in my mind before I use the mask. And I'm going to target these tiles here in the middle. I'm going to turn it around a bit. And I'm going to increase the exposure. I'm going to open it up a touch. Should be okay. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to head down to the beginning of the mask where we had the linear gradient here. I'm going to find it just by clicking over here. There it is. And here I'm going to reduce the exposure just a bit more. Like that. Should be okay. The next mask I'm going to use, everyone, is another radial gradient. And I'm going to place it around there. And I'm going to increase the exposure here. And that should be okay. Once again, another radial gradient. And I'm going to place it on the outside of the image to about where the sun was. Going to tilt it a bit and open it up to around there. And I'm going to increase a touch of exposure. Going to head down to the effects panel and reduce the dehaze. To around there. Next, I'm going to use another radial gradient and I'm going to place it in the center of the image here. To about there, and I'm going to erase just a touch of shadows. We got rid of the clippings on the dark side, on the shadows. A touch of whites and a touch of exposure. If you see clippings which we have on our histogram, just hover over it. If you click on these triangles here, you will see exactly where the clippings are. And we just have one here on the reflection of the sun. And there I'm going to reduce the highlights and see if they go away. And there we have it. So now we come to the end of the editing. I'm going to create one more mask, a radial gradient, and I'll be creating a vignette. I'm going to invert it like we do for a vignette. I'm going to reduce the exposure just a touch like that. I'm going to head out of the masking. I'm going to reduce the image. And I think we're about ready from our black and white image, architectural black and white image. You can call it fine art if you think. Most people will say it's not fine art. But don't worry, in my opinion, I think it can pass for fine art. Well, thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, the editing tutorial. And I hope you can achieve the same results I do with your images when shooting in harsh conditions in black and white. And don't forget, guys, set your camera to black and white and you're going to become a much better photographer, not just in black and white, but also in color. Thank you, subscribe, thumbs up, comment below, and I'll see you in another video. Thank you once again, and good day.